Okay, so I want to call our Tuesday, May 31st, 2022 City Council Transportation Committee to order. And it looks like we have myself, Mark Kenyon, and Sonia Harvey here this evening. We have just a couple of items of new business. Is that correct, Chris?
Yes, that's correct. This hopefully won't take too long, so we'll try to make it quick.
Okay, so our first item of new business is Happy Hollow Road, a review of the traffic calming plan for 3 sets of speed cushions between Huntsville Road and Acacia Crossing. Chris, you want to give us, is that you, Chris, or is that Dane?
Dane is going to present this one, so Dane,
okay,
go
Dane,
ahead.
Would you give us an update on that?
Sure. So in your agenda packet, there's a staff memo that kind of summarizes, but we did get a request for traffic calming on Happy Hollow Road. This section of road does already have a couple of speed tables that are somewhat lower profile that could have to do with the way they were originally constructed and or the overlays that have taken place over the years. We did do an analysis and found that even with the speed tables present, that it still met the criteria for traffic calming. So this is a street where people are kind of used to seeing speed tables, but there will just be a few more of them with this plan. So the layout, if we did want to look at that here, let's see. Which screen can I share? Just have a lot of windows open. Zoom screen share is a little different here. Let's see. Looks like it's right here. So you can see this is, hopefully you all can see my screen of the PDF here. This is East Huntsville Road. So we'll have a new set of the speed cushions there leading into the speed table that's existing after 5th Street, another set before the existing speed table, and then one more over here to the north. So this is what it'll look like. Those are just 2 speed cushions in each group, so a total of 6 units.
So there's 3 existing ones, is that correct?
There are 2 existing, and so we'd be adding 3 sets.
Okay. So I have a question on this. This is a street that when we were talking about traffic calming, I know we had lots of complaints about there's speed bumps on there and they don't work. And so what is the deal with the existing, I don't know if they're speed cushions or technically speed bumps or speed tables or what they are exactly. What is that? I thought I heard you say they were too low in profile and maybe it was caused by overlay of the street. Is that correct?
So there are speed tables around Fayetteville vary in their kind of size and shape in some regards. Some are taller and more abrupt than others. These I believe to be some of the more gentle, lower profile. I don't believe that they are quite as effective as some of the other speed tables in town. And with what I meant by the overlay of the street is that as the asphalt's laid back up to the speed tables, it maybe the overlay was thicker in that area, which effectively makes the speed table even shorter.
So are these are the speed tables that are there, are they a pavement that's built up, and what we're using for the new speed tables, is it the rubberized stuff that you bolt to the pavement?
Right. The existing speed tables are concrete, and what we're proposing adding in would be these rubberized bolt down modular units like we've used recently.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. And this is in Ward 1. Is this correct?
Yes,
Is this
it
your
is in
ward,
Ward
Sonia?
1.
Okay.
Yes, actually, yeah, I've had enormous amount of kind of organization among the neighbors to really kind of tackle this issue. There's kind of some other issues as well, but this is kind of one of the top ones is traffic calming. So they've been getting organized, getting the neighbors together to follow through and work with the staff to do whatever they need to do to prove that their street is, kind of been turned into a speedway. So I'm hoping that these new ones will help with that. They've got a few, I believe, at least one place that children are waiting for the bus. So, between the morning traffic and the children waiting for the bus, it's kind of been a problem. But they've been I want to say in the last 6 months, really organizing to try to deal with it. So this is kind of the culmination of that. So Dane, did they do kind of that whole neighborhood traffic process that we established earlier maybe it was the end of last year?
Yes.
You know what I'm referring?
Okay. Susanna Brennan is
thank you.
the woman that mostly organized the neighborhood and did successfully complete the 60% neighborhood approval. We did put this together at the same time as a layout also for Ray Avenue, which is the adjacent street to the east. And we have not gotten the signatures back from that group. We haven't really heard much back from that group, but I do have not so much concern, but I did want to kind of, I was hoping that both of these would get approved at the same time so that we could install them around the same time, because there may be a tendency for people to use Ray more often if they are trying to cut through now that if we do put these cushions in. So I think if you do start hearing concerns from residents over on Ray, put them in touch with me. I do have the signature sheet that's been provided, but to their point of contact. But if there are other people that want to get involved to make sure that we're not pushing the problem on to an adjacent street, we're ready to get that process approved too.
Great, thanks. Yeah, I'll do some research and see if I can dig and find somebody who can follow up with you. Thanks for letting me know. But that's kind of the background a little bit, Sarah, on it.
Okay. Okay. I mean, I really don't, I've heard many times about the cases of speeding on this street, and I really have no concerns with what we're doing here. And I really like the fact that we use these movable tables now, or pillows, and that, if it doesn't work out, or we get the neighbors decide, well, gosh, this is not helping and it's much worse and I don't like it, that we can go back and reevaluate it, and it's not the same as making something out of concrete on the street there. So
yeah, and actually that reminds me of a question I had, Sarah, for Dane. So because they're rubberized and modular, does that mean that when the street is paved, it will help to address the issue that if there's overlays done, that there won't, we won't get that that's not a word, gentrification, not gentrification is a word, but that so that the speed cushion doesn't get drowned in the street. Is it modular like that? Like they take them off and then they do the street work and they can put them back on, and if they don't like them, we might move them to Ray.
Right. That's another benefit with these, is that they're perfectly uniform. They come out the same every time. And I don't know that we've actually overlaid a street that has these bolt down type devices yet, but I would assume that our overlay program, we would take them up and then mill fresh asphalt and then bolt them back down in place so that they wouldn't be affected. long term. So
I'll answer that. We would remove them and then put them back down.
Yeah.
But just so you know, all the concrete ones, we're going to mill up to that. We're not going to raise the level of asphalt as it approaches those. And I don't know of any, or in this case or any others, where we've done that, because we put a lot of them in, so we know the height they need to be. It just may have been done at a little less height in the past. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
I'm
Thanks,
not sure
Terry,
how
for
long it's been in there.
Yeah, that's helpful to know, because I wasn't sure how that works at all, but that's good for the clarification. Yeah, you don't want to undo your own work. What were you saying, Sarah? I'm sorry, I cut you off.
I don't know how old those are and what the measurements would have been when those were put in, if they were different than what we do now, or what the case was on that. So.
Sarah, it looks like we have someone who's raised their hand.
Okay. So do we have Mark? Do you have any questions on this item? Let's see. Looks like we have a member of the public, Susanna Brennan.
And I can allow her to talk if you would like to.
Yeah. Susanna, do you have a question real quick for us or anything?
Yes, I do. I've got an unstable internet connection, so I haven't been able to hear everything y'all have said. It was about 12 years ago that the 2 speed tables were put in, and we believe that when the street was repaved, which might have been 6 or 7 years ago, the level of the street was raised. Is that what you call milling? And so the speed tables aren't as effective even as they were in the beginning. And in the beginning, people just barely slowed down. So we're very pleased with these 3, but I'm sorry, I didn't understand what you were saying about how you wouldn't pave over and raise the level of the street so that the speed table wasn't as effective anymore, because we think that's what happened. Are we wrong in our assumption that that's what happened?
Well, I'm not sure, but it would not be our intent to do that. Usually if we're doing that, we would mill right up against the speed table and then pave away from that. So we'll make sure it doesn't happen again.
Well, thank you.
So
Okay, that's
if it
great.
did.
Yeah. And we really appreciate the idea of the 3. We hope that's going to help. We shall see. And as to Ray Avenue, if you do, I think it was Sonia who was saying if you hear of any residents on Ray that want to collect signatures, I sent the people I know on Ray emails, and I called the one person I do know, and nobody's willing to collect the signatures. And it's not that difficult, but it's hard to get folks who wanted to knock on doors. So we're really sorry. We would love for Ray to be involved too. Maybe when they see that the traffic is, comes over to Ray instead of Happy Hollow, then maybe they will come to you and ask for them. But as for now, if you can help Sonia find any residents on Ray, that would be great.
Okay, yeah, thank you for the update, Susanna. I appreciate that. I'll see who I can reach out to. Maybe you and I can figure out who has been involved before. So
great, thank you.
Thanks.
So
we just need a recommendation from the committee to finalize this. It's just to the administration. And
so do we have a recommendation to finalize this addition of these speed cushions?
Yes, I'd like to make the recommendation that we follow through with this traffic calming plan that's presented.
Okay. I guess I'll second that. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Mark, you're muted. Yes, so.
I'm on my iPad and it just isn't easy.
I know it's not.
I'm banging it, unmute, and it just laughs at me.
Okay.
But I agree. Yes.
Okay, so that is unanimous of the members that are present. Okay, so our next item is the North Street Corridor Design Contract. It's a review of the contract amendment with McClellan Consulting Engineers for design services of the North Street Corridor project. So Chris, have you got this one?
Yes, thank you. This is for the detailed design of the North Street corridor, the selected segments that the committee approved a few months ago. This is with McClellan, who did the conceptual designs, $150,000. Just to help refresh your memory, share my screen here. So hopefully you're seeing a picture of our North Street corridor. Is everybody seeing that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So just to kind of help everybody remember the limits of design for this phase of work. This is Garland Avenue and North Street. So just west of Garland, down North Street, and then continuing down here to the Skull Creek Trail. And generally, this is just improvements for sidewalk connectivity, intersection improvements here at Garland for pedestrian safety, and just not a lot of impact to the vehicular traffic. So it really is more just about the pedestrian connectivity. And then the other part of the project that was selected this is at College Avenue. So it's these intersection improvements up to Washington, adding a left turn lane to the signal. We'll also reconfigure the signal so that it'll eliminate the split phasing that's there now. And then also adding that sidewalk on the east side. We haven't heard much about this project. There was some discussion about a housing project here on the county property. Haven't heard a lot from it, but we do hope to engage with the county. This is all owned by Washington County, so we do hope to engage with the county and work with them on this streetscape along that frontage. But those are the two items that are included in this design contract, and we're ready to present that to council if the committee wants to forward that to the council.
Mark, this is in Ward 2, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes. I don't know if you can hear me or not. I have
Yes,
a bad
I can.
connection, but yes. Good. I turned off the video so I would have more.
Okay.
Whatever. Yes, this is a good thing. Yeah.
Have you heard any, mostly, has it been positive feedback or any negative feedback on this?
I haven't heard any feedback. That's good, I think, generally.
Okay. I mean, I think everything that we've talked about, increasing pedestrian safety around the Garland intersection is especially important because you got that trail there. And, there's just a lot of people walking and cycling through that area. And if we could clean that up and make it a safer place for those people to move around without being in a vehicle, that would be great. The left turn lane coming down North Street onto College, I think that's just absolutely necessary. That's a really weird intersection, and the road is so rippled there. When you start hitting your brakes, it's like you're going across a washboard till you get up to the stoplight. So I think all that's really a very, very good improvement and making things safer. And if it's safer for people, it's often safer for the flow of traffic as well. So.
Yeah, I'm just glad to see. Oh, I'm sorry, Sarah, but yeah, I was just going to say I'm glad to see the continuing the pedestrian friendly aspects of the project, and definitely the left turn lane for the northbound, or the westbound North Street. is going to be great. So I would recommend, unless there's other questions, that we forward this to the city council.
Okay, so we have a recommendation to forward to the city council. Do we have a second on that?
I'll second that.
Okay, so motion made by Councilmember Harvey and seconded by Councilmember Kenyon. All those in favor indicate your support by saying aye.
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 All those opposed, anybody? No, okay. So that looks like that's all of our business today.
That's all we have, unless anybody has questions. We answered all of Sonia's questions before you got here, Sarah. So we got her taken care of, but gave us time to talk about several things. But
so just real quick, what were they?
well, we had an issue down at 15th and 71, or 15th in school over the weekend. The contractor switched over the signals there and went back to a phasing that wasn't working very well. So there were some concerns there. And then we talked about one other thing. I don't remember now what it was. Maybe that was the only one, but.
So one thing I would say is, when are we going to have that, the design for the Dixon Street and West Avenue? When are we going to be discussing that at our meeting?
Yeah,
I've heard a lot on that.
So basically, the conceptual design was to remove the turn lanes, make it be two lanes of travel. Based on the feedback that we got from both internal police department and external constituents, we're gonna keep the turn lanes in place. We can talk further about what the data shows, what the traffic study shows, but it's a little bit sometimes hard to understand how you can remove lanes and still keep the same level of service. But that's what the model shows. But the reality is, there was not a lot of people showing that as that favoring that, basically. So we're going to have the consultant revise the design. We are going to try to tighten up the intersection a little bit. There may be some parking impacts when we keep the turn lane in place, but it'll likely be sometime into the summer. I would say probably not next month, but probably the following. But the big thing that everybody had concern about, the removal of turn lanes, is not going to happen. So I can let you know that.
Okay. So we're still on track with the schedule for that, or does that put us in any
right?
jeopardy?
Yeah. Well, they're gonna. Yeah. I mean, they were going to just move forward with the conceptual design if that's what everybody agreed was okay, but it's not. So they've got to go back to make some revisions, and it just depends on how quickly the consultant gets it put together.
Okay.
It could be next month, but I wouldn't count on it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Chris.
All right.
Do we have any other questions or items we'd like to address before we close? Okay. Our meeting's adjourned. Thank you, everybody.